Okay, time has passed already a little bit. What we are going to do today is to check Wi-Fi communication. One of typical Wi-Fi communication to be viewed from your Wireshark is possible if you have access point to server, okay, host to APD, for example, on Linux. But we do not have a server, access point to server. So we're going to set up that and try to see how access points can connect. There is a Wi-Fi server, okay? It's kind of a router, but it's not really hardware router, but a software router, which is running on your Raspberry Pi. Since your Raspberry Pi has internal Wi-Fi antenna, so once you set up, then you can access from your laptop, from your smartphone. As your smartphone or laptop tries to connect, in other words, tries to associate with your Wi-Fi router or access points, that some of the packets are shared between the server and client. Server, in this case, access point daemon, which is running on Linux, and then client will be your laptop or iPhone. All right. So we'll do that quick, and after that, this DHCPD. If you have a DHCPD, then as your Raspberry Pi is running, you can access from anywhere into your Raspberry Pi and work. So you have one additional Linux box with you, which is your Raspberry Pi. Okay. So some of the students already done for BNC. Linux has NC. I think it is called the network concatenator. Originally, there's NC. V, I think a viewer or virtual, whatever. I'm not sure, but I guess VNC stands for and comes from that. NC is a network concatenator. So once you set up NC version of Windows, if you set it up there, then another PC can see your laptop, not through the internet, but in another channels. So you have that already. So I'm going to recap what you have done. If you do not have extra terminal with you, but if you have a monitor, if you want to use the monitor of your smartphone or iPad or any notepad, then that is also possible. There are another avenue that you can emulate your Raspberry Pi is on your laptop. That is totally separate software packages that you have to run. So your Raspberry Pi should have installed. You should install that software packages and also your laptop. Then your laptop release monitor only to your Raspberry Pi. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I know you all know Raspberry Pi, so we do not need to review any of those. A couple of things that I want to point out to you. The Raspberry Pi, the RAM size is 1 GB. And then a storage size depends on the SD card that you are using. If you have a 32 GB SD card, then your file system is 32 gig. Don't use full 32 gig. Maybe 31 gig, maybe 29 gig, right? 29 gigabytes is available for you to use. The rest, 3 gigabytes, already occupied by your operating systems. And CPU, there are 4 CPUs available, but usually the hardware CPU is only 1. So it's a quad-core CPU. You can see the availability of those 4 CPUs using some of the hardware configuration command. Your Raspberry Pi 3 is a 64-bit processor, and then speed is a 1.2 gigahertz, which is a lot slower than typical the laptop. But real operation is not slow. If you run Windows systems, then Windows laptop a lot slower than this Raspberry Pi, because this Raspberry Pi is running over Linux. What else can you say? Raspberry Pi has 40 global I/O pins, global purpose I/O pins, 20 at each side. If you see here, then we have 20 here and 20. Oh, this is older version, so 20 over here, right? So in your case. Oh no, that's 2. Yeah, 20 or one side. That's what I can see. Raspberry Pi is good for multimedia. Good for multimedia. For example, audio, video, camera interface is excellent. A lot better than anyone else. So who developed this Raspberry Pi? I don't remember who, but English guy. Okay, it is invented in England. Arduino Uno invented in Italy, right? BeagleBones invented in America, but final winner so far is Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi, mainly because Raspberry Pi is good. It has strong features of supporting multimedia. The camera, very easy to connect. All different types of cameras. Okay. All those 4 ports, we don't do that here, but in another class, in the spring semester, when we do sensor, wireless sensor, then we use some of the pins here to emulate something else. This is very, very important. If you want to install some other operating systems, for example, Ubuntu or Kali Linux, then you have to, you need imager, SD card imager. That imager make your SD card executable. But that's not the case here in Raspbian. If you have a Raspbian, then simply you format it, and then you download Noobs. Noobs, N-O-O-B-S. Noobs means new out-of-the-box software. New out-of-the-box software. If you want to rebuild, if you need to rebuild, for example, Alicia, okay, you need to download these Noobs from raspberrypi.org slash downloads. So if you download this, sometimes you cannot decompress it. You cannot unzip it simply by using WinZip. If you can unzip it, that's fine. You're all set to go. If you cannot, then I want you to download the 7-zip. Okay, 7-zip. There's another program, 7-zip. It's a lot better to unzip any Linux-related software packages. So if you unzip it, then you can see files and folders under noobs directory. Only thing you need to do before you take your SD card out from your laptop is to copy all the files and folders under this noobs to your SD card. Then you are done with your laptop. Now, everything that you need to do is within your Raspberry Pi. You can plug in your Raspberry Pi, then you can install Raspbian. By default, you can see Raspbian. Remember that Shakes and Jerry's? You see the Raspbian, right? But Raspbian itself does not have access point, host access point demand, D, right? Host, H-O-S-T, APD. That program is not running. The one that you need to do, this is also available. The one that you need to do is liber elect. When you insert your SD card into your Raspberry Pi and turn on, then first the menu that you can see is a Raspbian. Don't simply click this Raspbian. And also I said bottom of that Windows, the first window, bottom, there's two things that you need to change. The language, by default, that is English language. Not US English, but GK English. Okay? Or GB, right? GB. Great British. GB English. You need to change GB English to US English. And then keyboard. By default, it is set GB. For Great British, you need to change it to US. Okay? Both US and US. This is number one. Number two, you need to connect it to Wi-Fi. In this menu, somewhere up here, there is a the web browser stuff that you can see. You have to turn on and try to connect the Wi-Fi network. Once you connect to Wi-Fi network, then you have a multiple of different Linux distributors available. One funny thing is that if you do this, there is a Windows 10 also. So if you want to download your Windows 10 on your Raspberry Pi, that is also possible. But probably it's not going to run efficiently because Windows 10 consumes a lot of resources, right? Usually Windows 10 requires at least 4 GB memory, right? Now, 4 GB. So we have only 1 gig. But that is also possible. One of these menus is that you can find liber or liber elect. So you can selectively choose to install either Raspbian or Ubuntu or liber elect. If you click this, that's what we are going to do. If you do this liber elect, then we can set up access point server. Access point, okay? Oh, I did here, right? So English should be choose and keyboard. You can do that in the system. See here? If you go to this location, this is a file, keyboard file. Open up keyboard file and change this to US. Okay? Then it works. That's the same as you click some of those. Network. If you go to this etc, okay, and then WPA underscore supplicant, up to this is a folder, right? Directory. There is a file called WPA underscore supplicant.conf. You need to edit this into that file using whatever the editor that you are using. Okay. If you are, VI editor is, as I said, that is common in almost all Linux operating systems. I keep saying that VI editor is available even on your cell phone. If you connect this to your some programs and access this to change some, because this is a Linux, there is no other editor but VI. So VI is part of core Linux. So VI is always available. Any other easy to use editors may not be available in many cases. So using VI and change that one. I'm going to show that to you also. And if you want to see all the hardware information, remember that, oh, my Raspberry Pi has 4 CPUs. You can run this. List hardware. LS for list, HW hardware. Usually LSHW is not installed, so that you have to install it. The way that you install in Linux is apt-get. This is command. With this command, you can install and you can do something else. But we do install this LSHW. This is DHCP configuration, but we're not going to do. But here, host APD. Okay, host. This is not external independent access point. Something like a router. Router is not a host. Router is not a computer. Right? That is a separate device. We are not working on that separate device. We are going to work on computer. So computer set up access point, but it runs all the time. Okay, daemon. Daemon is a Linux jargon. But you can simply think of like a driver, okay? Some software packages. There are so many ways that you can do access points. The simple way that you can do is liber elect. Okay, liber elect. Liber elect. LibreElect can be installed from loops. Okay. New out-of-box software. Remember that that I mentioned, right? And then there you need to check network access point and also SSH. So we can emulate two things. But main purpose of having this lab is not configuration of Raspberry Pi itself. We want to see Wi-Fi wireless communication. So as we set up AP and SSH, then they are communicating, right? They need to associate, deassociate, they need to authenticate, all such, and they have some acknowledgement. All communications needs to be seen. How can we see those wireless network communication? You all know, right? One simple software packages. What is it called? Network packets. How can you view the network packets? Wireshark. Okay. So we can check some packets sharing by your Raspberry Pi, between your Raspberry Pi and your laptop, or between your Raspberry Pi and your iPhone, or whatever phone that you have. That's what we are going to do. Okay, so I'm going to I'm not sure this is on right now, but hopefully it is on. I'm going to okay, change it to HDMI, and I'm going to connect it to the Raspberry Pi. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show everything to you. The online user, so I need to show this to carefully. All right. So somehow you can see this. Right here. So this is a Raspberry Pi. The one that we have here is not Raspbian, but you can set up this Kodi-based LibreElect. It's very easy. What should I do? We don't have time to do it from the beginning, right? Well, otherwise we have to right. So assuming that you have LibreElect, then come here to check. We need to see, for example, interface setting. Others. Oh, this is RSS. Setting. If you do not like any options here, then press escape button from your keyboard, and then system settings. There is an internet access. Click on that internet access. Then see here, there's a HTTP. That server is ready. And then what else? This is an advanced setting, I think, right? So, escape. And service setting. No, leave or elect. This is a minimum set of Linux, still available for Raspberry Pi. If you want to set up this DHCP server and AP, host APD on your Raspberry Pi, it's a lot of hassle. But I set up a DHCP server. If we have enough time, then I'm going to show it to you also, that one. But setup takes a lot of time. Right now, where did I check? Okay, system, file manager, leave elect. Oh, here, network. Click network. Then here, by default, this is see here, this is enable tethered wireless access point. Okay, this is not really host access point daemon, but you can emulate this very easily here if you set up this. SSID is the liver elect AP. You can change this to, for example, something else. Okay, liver elect John. Okay, and then we can say okay. Passphrase. Right now this is a liver elect, but I'm going to change it to cyber secure, CYSECURE, and then OK. Okay. Once you have that, then check your, I want to take a look at yours. Your iPhone settings, Wi-Fi, you probably see then it's not changed. Still liver elect AP. I said that this is a liver elect. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have that? Something? I want to. Did you see liver elect John? So in my case, I have liver elect AP. I think this is something that I set previously. So it is a set right now, right? And as it is a set, the point here is that we're going to open up Wireshark and to see how they all communicate, and therefore they are associated. Okay, that's what we want to take a look. So that's, I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to show to you. It's not really what I'm going to do, because this is a set already. So I'm going to disconnect this. Okay, it's still on, but I'm going to this is I am going to bring up Raspberry Pi. No, not Raspberry Pi. Wireshark. And I'm going to connect this. Okay. And Wireshark, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to restart this. Meanwhile, run on the PuTTY, and the server is this 192.168.0.1, so I'm going to type here 192.168.0.1, enter. Then PuTTY is running. Meanwhile, you see here ICMP and some control protocols running. So when I type my login name and password, no, not that, root and library elect, enter. Okay, so it captured somehow here. So I'm click stop. And see here some of the SSH. Okay, this is encrypted packets. I'm not sure what it is, but if you click that, then you have here some of the encrypted packets. So this is one, and another. This is from server to client. The other one is from client to server. This guy has somehow password information, right? That's what is this? This is also from client to server. Oh, okay. So somehow it works that way. All right.